So the Haas Formula 1 team will field a completely new driver lineup for the 2021 season. One of those drivers will be Mick Schumacher, son of 7-time world champion Michael. This guy has a lot of hype around him, and many are predicting great things for the lad. Not to put too much pressure on him or anything, but the driver who is filling the other seat isn't quite looked up to in the same light. Many have described him as a pay driver just buying his way into the sport, which I don't understand, given that every single racing driver in history has some amount of backing to them. This new addition to the grid is Nikita Mazepin, and if you're unfamiliar with the guy, I'll provide a little rundown of the Russian, and whether he is worthy of a Formula 1 seat. Now, if you think that Mazepin is the son of a Russian billionaire who owns a major chemicals company and is the driving force behind his son's financing, you're right, because that's exactly what the case is. However, having backing in motorsport is one of those indisputable prerequisites, along with a lack of fear in a bottomless pit of your own ego. So putting aside the origin of Mazepin's backing, how is the lad? Is he good? Is he bad? Well, as we so often do on this channel, we'll have a look at his racing career to date and see what success he's had on the run up to 2021. So Mazepin competed in karting throughout the world in the early 2010s with some decent success, including a second place finish in the 2014 World Karting Championship, just losing out to Lando Norris, but finishing ahead of Johann and Callum Ilott. Not content with living in karts forever, Mazepin's first foray into racing cars came at the end of 2014, making a one-off appearance in the MRF Challenge series in India. And you know, it wasn't a bad debut, taking a podium in his maiden hit-out. He then contested his first full season of car racing at the start of 2015, driving in the Toyota Racing Series in New Zealand for E-Tech Motorsport. He would kinda struggle in this series, finishing behind teammates Thomas Randall and Callum Ilott in the standings, and had a best finish of 8th throughout the season. Meanwhile, the championship in the New Zealand Grand Prix would be won by Sir Lancelot. Not the best of starts, but I mean, hey, he's only starting, right? For the remainder of the year, he would contest the Northern European Formula Renault Series with Joseph Kaufmann Racing, with part-time appearances in the Euro Cup as well. Now, while he did achieve his first podium at the Red Bull Ring that year, he was convincingly beaten by his teammates Delatraz, Jorg, and Vanthoor. So again, not looking terribly great for him, but you know, benefit of the doubt and all that jazz. The year 2016 comes around, and Mazepin decides that 1 year of Formula Renault with no wins is enough for him to graduate to Formula 3 machinery, contesting the European Series full-time with Hi-Tech, with a one-off appearance in the British F3 Championship and a drive in the Macau Grand Prix later that year. His European season was rubbish, securing only 10 points and finishing 20th in the standings, while the series was once again won by Sir Lancelot. And some will be asking how he did against his teammates. Well, his teammates just so happened to be Ben Barnicoat and George Russell. Need I say more? And then finally he retired from the Macau Grand Prix after he slapped the wall. So what we have here is 2 full years of car racing with no notable results other than 1 win in the British F3 series. And I can understand why you'd be looking at me as if I had turds hanging out of my mouth, because I said this guy wasn't a bad driver, but his performances so far suggest that maybe he was the motor racing equivalent of Jai Courtney. 2017 would pick up a little bit, remaining with Hi-Tech in the European F3 series. Mazepin was now teamed up with Ralph Aaron, Tadasuke Makino, and Jake Hughes. Still a strong combo, but at least Jude Law's clone wasn't there anymore to make him look stupid. Mazepin achieved 3 podiums, including 2 at the Red Bull Ring in what was a strong weekend for him. However, while he finished ahead of Makino in the standings, he still finished behind teammates Aaron and Hughes in the standings. Although in fairness, it wasn't as comprehensive as the previous year, so you can argue that progress was made, I suppose. By the time 2018 clocked over, Mazepin latched himself to the ART GP3 outfit, driving alongside Jake Hughes, Callum Ilott, and Antoine Hubert, 3 highly regarded talents, driving for the best team on the GP3 grid. I guess you would be expecting him to finish around 10th place or lower maybe? Well, you know, that didn't happen. Instead, Mazepin won 4 races throughout the year to finish second in the standings behind Hubert. This seemed like a remarkable turnaround considering the last few years were void of any meaningful results. But I mean, hey, important thing is that he's delivering now, right? Thinking that second place in GP3 was good enough, and to be honest, it probably was, Mazepin graduated to the Formula 2 series in 2019, once again teamed up with ART. Paired up with Nick de Vries and in a decent car, Mazepin would prove to the world that he was capable of piloting. He sucked up. De Vries won the title while Mazepin finished 18th in the standings, behind a man who is widely regarded as one of Formula 2's most prominent drivers, Someone who puts it all on the line and will never leave an inch for any other driver. Sean Gallile. So we have one good year of results, with the remainder being pretty forgetful. It does sound like I'm bagging the guy, but this is the man that's going to be in the top flight of motorsport starting from next year. In his final year of junior Formula racing, Mazepin competed in the Asian F3 series with High-Tech, alongside Ukyo Sasahara and Alessio Deleta. Oh Jesus. Now, Sasahara would not be classified in the standings as he was a guest driver for the whole season, so Mazepin's only competition within the team was with Deleta. And beating Deleta is like outperforming a eunuch in an orgy. Needless to say, Mazepin finished highest of the High-Tech drivers, third in the standings, behind Joey Elders and Jack Doohan. However, Sasahara picked up 3 wins in his time in the series, while Mazepin won nada. Sorry to take the wind out of your sails. But it was all prep for the upcoming Formula 2 season, and I mean, hey, as long as he performs well there, all is well, right? Well, with 1 round to go in this year's series, Mazepin has secured 2 wins, and currently sits third in the standings. His performances throughout the year have been very good, when he hasn't been trying to kill small Japanese men with bits of plastic, but is he ready for Formula 1? Well, that is a question we were already asking just 2 years prior to this, because Mazepin's F1 ambitions are nothing new. It all began back in 2016, when Mazepin was a development driver for Force India. He continued testing for them in 2018, right up until the point where the team was in serious jeopardy. At the time, there were 3 main contenders to buy the fledgling Force India team: Lawrence Stroll, Dimitri Mazepin, and Bad Santa. Although Bad Santa was immediately turned away, so it was a bit of a bidding war between Stroll and Mazepin. Likelihood was that whoever won the bidding war would not only have an F1 team in their arsenal, but would guarantee a seat for their son on the Formula 1 grid. But here we are in 2020, and we all know who won that bidding war. Mazepin tried to take legal action, but that of course didn't really go anywhere, leaving Mazepin on the sidelines, at least for now. However, he would test F1 machinery again in 2019, this time driving for Mercedes, topping the timing sheets in his time in the car. So with this knowledge that Mazepin has driven F1 cars already, that his father has many RuPauls in backing, and that Haas have officially announced him, the question that must be asked is whether Nikita Mazepin is worthy of a Formula 1 seat. Short answer? Yeah, he's demonstrated some good results as of late, and it might translate for when it comes time to go into the grand stage. He said recently that he copes better as the cars get faster, and you know, evidence proves that he's right. And Haas will get a nice injection of cash to help keep the team's head above water. However, is he the best option out of all possible candidates? I'll chuck down some names here. Joseph Newgarden, Callum Ilott.
Hi, I'm a racing driver.
Nick Cassidy, Lord Mojave, Robert Schwartzman, Sergio Perez, Nico Hulkenberg, Nick De Vries, Naoki Yamamoto. How does he compare to those guys? I ain't saying anymore because I don't want to trip down to the Lubyanka. I also mentioned at the top of the episode that he wasn't really universally loved, for a variety of reasons, whether it be for tweets or for impromptu boxing matches in the paddock. But does it really matter though? Not if he can perform well, and with Mick Schumacher as his teammate, it will almost certainly be a tough ask for him. And while we're all sad to see Roman and Kevin leave the team and the sport as a whole, if he can carry the momentum that he's had this year into next year's Formula 1 season, then he deserves that chance. Kinda. Sorta. Not really. I don't know, what do you all reckon? Drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you're awesome, and always remember, keep it respectful, be wholesome, don't be a menace, and as always, I'll see you all later.
Let me tell you, wanna see you fly, way up in my sight, till the day I die, we're heading for the silver line. Let me tell you, wanna see you move, cause there's room for 2, every day, every night. We turn up to 9-9.